Well, we start with one of the most incredible Ashes tests of all time. After another scarcely believable day, Travis Head's sublime 123 gave Australia an 8-wicket win after England collapsed once again in Perth. It was a humbling defeat inside 2 days for Ben Stokes' side, who now head to Brisbane 1-0 down in the series. Well, England began their second innings with a lead of 40. Zach Crawley went for a duck for the second time in the game before England built what appeared to be a commanding position. But then an incredible collapse after lunch. They fell from 65 for 1 to 104 for 7. A very handy 50-run partnership between Bryden Carse and Gus Atkinson helped England to at least give themselves a lead of more than 200, but they will have hoped for so much more. Head was promoted to open for Australia, and he produced one of the great Ashes knocks. His superb 123 alongside Nasser Hussain, unbeaten 51, guiding Australia to an astonishing fight back and an 8-wicket win. Well, let's go live to Perth and join former England captain Nasser Hussain. Goodness me, I don't know where to start, but a real collapse for England earlier. They were 65 for 1. At one stage, it was one of the most remarkable Ashes of all time. I mean, over in less than 2 days. And I've just read the stats. The first time that's happened since 1921. Sum up what you saw today.
I think you sum it up pretty well, to be honest. I've seen a lot of Ashes cricket. I've seen a lot of Test cricket. But you go a long way to beat what I've seen in these last 2 days. The hype and build-up for this series has been incredible. And these 2 days have delivered that. You feel a bit sorry for all the England fans and Australian fans that have got tickets for day 3, day 4, day 5. They're not going to be watching any Ashes cricket. Incredible. I mean, yesterday, 19 wickets in a day, and England go to bed in a very strong position, looking like they're going to get a lead. They did get a lead, and they were such a commanding position at lunch. 99 runs ahead with 1 wicket down. And then that collapse came. 4 for 11, could have been, should have been 5 for 11 if Khawaja had taken Jamie Smith in the slip cordon. And then the wheels just came off. It was incredible, both with the bat, with the ball. Travis Head, a stroke of genius, opened with Travis Head, and he baz-balled England's baz-ballers, let's be honest. He went out and smashed it, and the game was over in 2 days.
I mean, remarkable, really. England will be left with, you know, a sore head after today. Was that 69-ball 100 for Travis Head one of, I guess, the great Ashes innings?
He got his tempo spot on. That is how he plays. I remember speaking to Ben Stokes before the previous Ashes. I flew out to India to interview the England captain, and I asked him, who's the one lad that is a threat? And he could have got Smith, he could have gone Labuschagne, there was a whole heap, and he went Travis Head. The England captain has a lot of respect for Travis Head, and you can see why. Because when ball dominates bat, as it has done in this test, what you need to do, and that's why I use the baz-ball term with him, what you need to do is put that bowling attack that England was superb yesterday, those 5 seamers, you need to put them under pressure, and that's what he did. The slip fielder disappeared, the field disappeared, they started bowling halfway down, and Travis Head loves it halfway down. He was pulling and cutting and smashing it everywhere. So outstanding counter-attacking run chase almost from Travis Head.
Look, we know England's approach is to always take the game to the opposition, but how disappointed have you been with some of the shot selection from England's batters?
Both innings after lunch, very disappointed. Yesterday, the lower order, when the field was spread on these massive grounds in Australia, this massive ground in Perth, where the square boundaries are as big as the ICC allow them, and they were still trying to take fielders on in the deep. They knew that was coming, and they fell into the trap perfectly for Australia. And then today, 99 runs ahead, 1 wicket down, and they were driving on the up. The one thing you don't do in Perth is drive on the up outside your off stump. And I include Crawley in that. Crawley twice driving, first innings, second innings. Pope driving on the up. Harry Brook driving outside his off stump, caught in the slip cordon. Joe Root just fiddling outside the off stump. So that is the area that really frustrates. And it's not just here today or yesterday. If you think about England, this England side, they have played so much good cricket under Stokes and McCullum. But their one nemesis at times is when they get ahead of the game, They are not ruthless. Edgbaston in the last Ashes, they should have won that. Lords in the last Ashes, when Nathan Lyon hobbled off the pitch with a calf injury and they were bowler down and they were all hooking at Lords, they went 2-0 down. There are times with this England side when they're head of the game, they don't just say, right, be smart now. We've got ourselves in this position. Be smarter right now. If we switch on now, we will win this test match. And at that moment, they weren't smart. They gifted 4 wickets away by driving on the up in Perth, and that is always dangerous.
Look, Australia's bowling was, I mean, potent in both innings, but England's bowlers, I mean, they just didn't fire at all in the second innings. What do you put that down to, though?
To Travis Head. It is classic what Stokes and McCullum wants you to do to oppositions. When the ball is moving and they're just hitting a length, back of a length, what he wants is batters to be smart, but to take an attacking option, know which are your shot options, square bat shots along the ground or picking it up over fine leg. I just think that he put England's bowlers, I can't complain too much about England's bowlers. The way they bowled yesterday was about as well as I've seen an England bowling attack bowl in a test match for a very long time. So really, yep, today Travis Head hit them off their length and it went pear-shaped, let's be honest. But this game was lost with those 2 batting collapses, 5 for 12 in the first innings and 4 for 11 here today.
Look, Australia did this without 2 of their, famed bowling trio, Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood. Goodness me, how does this bode for England for the rest of the series?
Well, you feel that Cummins will come back. Maybe Hazlewood, you'd be very surprised after a hamstring just, a week ago. I'd be very surprised if Hazlewood plays in Brisbane. He might, but you'd think Pat Cummins would come back. So it's going to get harder for England, but really now it's a mindset. Everywhere they go, I would not be buying a copy of the Western Australian newspaper tomorrow morning. They are going to get hammered. I'm just stood here waiting to do this cross with you, and the England fans sort of walking past shouting, what are you doing with your 3 days off, Nasser? They are going to get that from everyone. They've got to go into their own little bunker. They've got to dig deep. One thing about this England side is that they do bounce back under Stokes and McCullum. 2-0 down in the last Ashes series, they came back to draw that series. So they have a lot of character in that side. They've just got to show it. It's different in Australia. Coming back in England on home soil is different from when you go down and how you go down. This is a defeat that you're going to find very difficult to come back from. I know that from past experience. The whole nation will now go at them and start doubting them and laughing at them. They have really got to dig deep and make sure they show a lot of character. And remember that they did play a lot of good cricket in this game. And remember that when you get ahead of a game, be more ruthless and be more smart.
Just finally then, Nasser, we'll hopefully seeing them be more ruthless and more smart. But look, what do they do differently? What changes do you think they may make?
I don't see them changing too much, to be honest. It's not a side that overreact and change. They've got a lot of time off now. There's a 2-day game in Canberra that I don't think any of them are going to go and play. So they're going to have a lot of time. It's how they handle that time and how you get away from this, but also come together and be ready for Brisbane. So I don't see them making many changes. Crawley bagged a pair and they have built Crawley up and they've saved Crawley and they've let Crawley be for this Ashes series. They believe that Crawley would go well in Australia because of the type of player he is, but 2 in 2, he's got 2 ducks. So he's going to have to really dig deep and work out you can't be driving at Mitchell Starc in the first over of an Ashes test because that will cause you problems. So a real hard, high mountain to climb now for England, but they do have a lot of character. They have a captain with a lot of character. They're going to need that from Stokes and his team.